What's up, Burn fam? First match. Playing Burn in the new place. Got a reasonable enough hand. This list is by Damian Esposito. He's had a few recent finishes with Burn in challenges. It's a little bit interesting take on the deck. It's got a lot of like 1-ofs and 2-ofs. One of the main things different about it is the multiple copies of Fork Bolt in the main deck. So please be Ragavan. Feel like we're cool. This almost feels not fair, but time for Joe, time for peace. So Zoo. I would assume with a weird mana base, I'm always assuming Domain Zoo. No bolt. Okay. If they stub us, they stub us, I guess. Not able to play around it the whole game, so. And besides, they're going to fetch Shock. They're basically dealing themselves 2 to prevent 3. So, yeah. Still think there's a very good chance this is Zoo with this weird mana base. Everything's been a mountain so far, so you could think creativity, but with Ragavan, it's just not in that. That's definitely Zoo. So. Okay. Scion of Draco. Okay. Does allow Monkey to get a free hit on us, which is less than ideal, but sequencing a little bit awkward with that. Okay. They get a lava spike if they want it. Sure. decent chance that they have they would have leyline binding or something here. Okay. Okay. Sure. So we did cost ourselves by not casting something last turn a little bit, but opponent would need Tribal Flames at this point to win, I think. Maybe Flage. Okay. So Smash is a consideration. Cern Blood's consideration. This piece doesn't make so much sense. Stony Sevens doesn't make much sense. Path could be fine. Firing back kind of mid against what they're doing. Don't really want to be trying to play it. Well, take out the lightning helixes. So Ragavan has some less great stuff to hit. So one of the things about this list that I find interesting is the argument about, can't really keep the 4-lander, 19 and 20 lands. I don't know if it's been recently, but there was a argument within the Burn Discord about basically having 61 cards, and which basically means we're up against Sai on this turn. Minutes of tanking. Flage. Oh, it's going to be difficult to beat. Leyline Binding, Shocker. Bolt. punish for putting Skull Crack back, but put you to 7. Skill Crack. Nice. 2-0 win against Zoo. Alright, match number 2. Take a look at this hand. We have GG into 2 drops or Bolt into 2 drops. So, obviously it depends on if we're up against something like Energy. We might have to use Bolt to kill God of Souls or Ocelot Pride turn 1. Turn 1. Gravecrawler. Sure. Not really want to draw a land here, but we'll roll with it. So we're probably up against that, I forget what the name of it was called. There's a zombie combo deck that was popping up for a little while there. Crocs is a little annoying, but 13, then 10, then 8. Alright. Interesting choice. Unless they need white mana, I don't understand going for this, but you figure you just play the painless land. Sure, Crocs out, we'll pitch Wooded Foothills. Okay. So play this, do that since we have no choice. Not saying we can't lose this matchup, because we certainly can. This doesn't really feel like a matchup that Burn would struggle with too terribly much. Feels like kind of a value aggro deck. So fetching in the basic planes, obviously they need to save life, but that will make it that much more difficult for Croxa to come back. This could actually, I don't think this is the Mardu Giants list that Spike was working on, where it had like Croxa and Flage, along with things like Doorkeeper Thrall and stuff. But figure there's got to be more zombies in here somewhere. That puts us to 11. Lingering Souls, sure. So they probably have like looting or something somewhere in their deck. Boom. Screw the critics, GG. Alright, so path, fine. Rest in Pieces might be okay. Sanctify and back definitely comes in. Searing Blood's probably reasonable. T-Palm doesn't seem like it. Searing Bridge, not really. Rest in Peace. They could have Flage too, so maybe I don't want to go down that, but try it like that. It's one of the weird things about these like split sideboards is sometimes you just get these unique scenarios where you're bringing in like one or two cards Not that it's really possible to play around, Sanctifier and deck versus Rest in Peace. I mean, they have Prismatic Ending in their list, so I can only assume they're used to facing some amount of graveyard hate, and it just happens to be an okay removal spell against, certain things. So anyways, back to discussing the 61 lands. I know on the Burn Discord they were talking about, 19 lands, 60 cards, 20 cards, 61. I'm not a huge subscriber to that. I do think you should, if you can play 60, just play 60. Because even the fractional math of like screwing up your draws, just I don't feel it's worth it. But, like 20 lands, board down to 19 on the draw. There's a lot of different things you could do differently with Burn. Fork Bolt's a card. I've played a lot of the one-drop Burn spells. I honestly thought Play with Fire was the best, but Forked Bolt in the current meta makes some amount of sense. This is another matchup with a bunch of X1s that it might be pretty decent against. So... Mm-hmm. If we go Gravecrawler and the Gravecrawler, I think we just Fork Bolt both of them. Back streets back. Alright. Okay. Swizzle Spear. I feel like it's going to eat a Fatal Push, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Or Bolt, sure. Mm-hmm. If our opponent's annoyed or what's going on over there. The presence of the enemy. Praise hallelujah. Bamba? Sure. Okay. The grave crawler, sure. This actually gets a little scary with a Bamba in play. Sure. Don't know how many grave crawlers or other zombies they have in their deck. Sure. That's for 2. We're only doing this if they have a fetch land or another land to bring it back. Mm-hmm. Sure. No shocker that they have Faithless Looting in their list. Block here, sack ping us. I really think they should have more zombies in their list. Carrion Feeder is a zombie, right? Now I know what's going on with their lists. Some piece comes in. All right. We'll try it. Normally don't consider one-liners, but this one has a lot of one-land stuff, plus a rest in peace, so if we hit that 40% or so for our second land, then losing? Nope. Okay. Sure. I feel like they should have played their fetch land after this, but in case they mill a guess we let them do this. And Take a hit for 3. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. If they have bombardment, we lose. It's whatever. Or bolt. Maybe that was dumb. Sure. Good games. Alright, so taking a close look at this deck so people can know what's in the deck. Basically nothing too fancy. You have 2 of each. Well, 2 Arid Mesa, 2 Bloodstained Mire, 1 Wood Foothills. You have 4 Inspiring Vantage, 3 Sacred Foundry, 2 Mountains, 4 Sunbaked Canyon, 2 Barbarian Ring, which should come up notably in our first match. Bolt Wave, obviously. Forked Bolt is kind of the unique addition to this list, in addition to all the 1-ofs. On the rest of the list, you have all the 4-of staples: Bolt Wave, Lava Swag, Lightning Bolt, Goblin Guide, Swift Spear, 3 copies of Skill Crack, 3 copies of Searing Blaze, 4 Boros Charms, 3 Lightning Helixes, 4 Skewers, 1 Flage. I think Flage is the one card that could probably go to get us back down to 60, but as far as the sideboard, good mix of cards right now because the meta is just such a weird thing. 1 Ensnaring Bridge against other opposing aggro decks, especially I'd guess Energy and such. 1 Deflecting Palm. Not a huge fan of this card, but there are some spots that can be reasonable, especially against specifically Belcher. 1 Exquisite Firecraft against any type of blue decks. 1 Searing Blood whenever you're up against the small decks. 2 copies of Smash to Smithereens against the artifact decks, along with 2 copies of Stony Silence. Stony Silence also relevant against decks like Grinding Breach. Rest in Peace and Sanctifier Invect can also be important in that matchup, specifically Rest in Peace. Path Exile is a 1-of is fine. Orm's Chant helps shutting down opposing combo decks. 2 copies of Deafening Silence against decks that are trying to cast a bunch of spells. So this sideboard appears to be especially ready for copies of any type of matchup. With Grinding Breach, you have 2 of those. You have 2 Stony Silence to bring in. You have an Orm's Chance and 2 Rest in Pieces all to bring in. So this deck appears like it's fairly ready for that. Eldrazi, I'm not sure how that matchup flows, honestly. Probably depends on the nature of the Eldrazi draws. Energy, I still think we're a slight dog too. I mean, you could go the 4 Blaze, 4 Blood, 4 Skullcrack that Aspiring Spikes build had, and then the rest of the sideboard are all pretty interesting cards. So, as always, if you do like burn content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you for our next video.